Hey, what's going on, y'all? I know it is pretty early in the morning, but y'all know I do this stuff late night. Earlier today, during the day, September 11th, if y'all are following the dates, it is now September 12th. But yesterday, I had tons of footage from the Christiana Resistance, which was a very serious but enlightening day. And so we've got to counteract and balance that with good times, right? So unfortunately, I was not able to make it to the carnival and awesomeness at Reservoir Park today to see the drill teams and stuff. But I do want to shout that out because it's important to do it for the culture, right? But I went out tonight, had some much needed drinks. For me, it was a celebratory thing. And I'm joined with two homegirls of mine. And we just gonna shoot the shit and really talk. So whatever y'all hear, y'all hear. Again, caution, there might be explicit content. I really don't give a fuck. If you don't want to listen, tune out. If you do want to listen, tune in, because we might just say some funny shit about whatever. But I got me, black dude, I got a black girl, and I got a Puerto Rican. You black, right? Black girl and Puerto Rican chick. That's what we doing tonight. So again, it's the Leon Block. So what's going on with y'all? I know you got some shit you getting into tonight. Facts. Juicy tea. Give me some juicy tea. Mm-hmm. I mean, drip drip is fine.
Honestly, for me, it's to have a conversation. You're so waiting for the situation. And definitely beneficial. I think there is communication and like relationships these days. Like people feel like they can't really have
Speak up.
a conversation, and that is like crazy as hell to me. Like if you're gonna, be extra enough to give your body to somebody, can you at least give me honesty? Like I think that's more or less like a respect thing between mutual parties, considering that you are both trusting each other with your body. So why can't y'all have a conversation about safe sex?
Okay, so there's the topic. There is the topic. So I'm not going to disclose names of who is. I'm not going to disclose names of who's speaking because that's a whole different situation. Right now, we're going to focus on the topic. So the topic is, how do you feel about safe sex, intimacy,
And the conversation between two parties.
and a conversation between two partners? So how do you feel about casual dating and sex?
I don't really think I think that I am a person who like dates to marry, and like a lot of guys are dating just to date, just to like, experience their youth. And I'm not even gonna say their youth because my grandpa is like 65 and still going through the whole phase. When the fuck does that stop?
You know what? Older black men, there are a lot of them that have went through the 80s, war on drugs, crack era, being separated from their families. We were just talking about yes, mothers and their kids living on different means of survival and not being able to have their partners live with them for certain reasons. That separates the man from the woman. Now you got that man ripping and running the streets, not being able to get or hold down a good time job. They're gonna be stuck in that fuckboy stage,
In the house, the house
dipping in and out from place to place, couch surfing. Yep.
the homosexual.
Yeah, say that again.
The hobosexuals.
Right.
I cannot with the hobosexuals. What is with you guys dating to have a place to stay? And then
It's a means of survival.
that shit is crazy to me.
I'm gonna
I
give you from the
mean,
dude perspective. It's a means of survival. Like
I
I've
just
been there.
I just heard a situation about this yesterday. My friend was telling me about his cousin and his dating situation, and it was literally because he needed just to live. And I was like, I mean,
I
she
mean, it's a
doesn't.
fucked up world, but
It's
at the
a
end of
very
the
real
day,
thing. There's a lot of
Yeah, there's a
people
lot
that
of
are.
people doing it.
It's a very real thing. There's a lot of people that are homeless. There's a lot of people who will use their manipulation tactics to be able to stay with someone so that they can survive. It is a taken for granted, but also it's the way that our survival, our society is. Like, if it was set up where niggas, excuse me, where dudes could be able to be with their actual families that they wanted to be with, because statistically, black men care for their kids more than any other race. If you ask the children, they will tell you they love the fuck out of their dads. You ask white parents or Hispanic or Asian or natives, indigenous, it's a little lower. But with black families, yes.
But what they're like the strong black man is always appreciated in a black family because he represents what a man should treat a woman like for young girls, and as for a boy watching him, what a man should be like. So that is a real big thing that crashed the community. Crashed the community because with the separation of the black male from the black family, men weren't learning how to be men and little girls weren't learning how to be loved by men. That was some real shit. And I think that's why there are a lot of women who aren't properly able to heal because they haven't truly healed from the trauma of losing their father.
Talk about it, spit that shit.
So to me, that just hits different. That just hits different because there are a lot of women going through that, and there are a lot of young black men that are getting locked up into the wrong crowds or just doing wrong things because of absentee fathers. And now you got like celebrities and shit glamorizing it, like Future and shit. You know, they up there making songs about another fatherless child as if the shit is cute and now it's
And
the
they
thing to
encourage
do.
that shit.
They're encouraging that shit, and they already know the trauma that it caused because half of them didn't have the strong black male figure in their life.
And they encourage.
That's crazy to me.
But you know what? There are other dudes, like for example, on the opposite side of things, like Russell Wilson, that's being the stand-up dad. So like, even though we have these fuck boy ass, excuse my language, niggas, because they niggas, there's a difference, but let's get into it. Out here doing some fuck boy shit, it does perpetuate and continue to further those stereotypes. But on the other side of things, we have some beautiful, thoughtful, powerful, smart, strong, and vulnerable black and brown women that won't take no shit. For real, for real. Say that again.
It's because we had to be that way. Because, and you know what? I was just noticing that for years you'll get somebody telling you as a black woman that you aren't good enough, you aren't worthy enough. Everything that you're doing is under constant scrutiny, from your hair being thrown out of schools because of your hair to, you know, grown ass men over sexualizing us, fetish like white men fetishing us. Like it just doesn't stop. When you're dating in different races, you notice amongst each race, like you're really not appreciated almost anywhere.
Do you notice how black men will be with white women way more than white men will be with black women?
Yeah.
Why do you think that is?
Well, I've been watching, and this is gonna sound stupid. I've been watching a lot of TikTok.
Mm-hmm.
And I was seeing on TikTok, there's a lot of white men that actually want black women. It's just that they're afraid to approach them because of this fucking stereotype that, you know, as soon as you speak to her, she's gonna shoot you down. When there are a lot of black women who actually like white men.
Yes, yes.
Like they do.
They know that stereotypically that a white man's gonna treat them right.
But
that's the understanding.
Here's another thing about, you know, black women also gatekeeping certain, you know, situations amongst black men. Like you'll see a good looking black man and he gets with a woman of a different race, and then they're like, oh, he couldn't have went for the sister. But then when we see somebody like the lady who played in what's that, something in Slim, you see that movie? Queen and Slim.
Yes.
When she married a white man, they tore that woman down on social media to the point where she had to get on Twitter and just go, I don't care because I love who I love, but that shit is crazy that you got to explain that shit. because they got people gatekeeping, like, oh, you couldn't have just been a powerful black couple. Well, if I didn't find that, why is it wrong for me to find that in somebody else of a different skin color? That's crazy. That's so close-minded. But
you know what? No, I completely agree with that because I've tended to date outside of my race. And part of it I understand is because of like deep rooted self hate. Do you know what I mean? In the community.
yeah,
It's for me in the gay
the
community,
colorism,
the colorism and all of that. Like, so I had to really dig deep, and it's like, well, why won't I date my own race? It's not that I didn't, because I started out dating my race. I did. But I also wanted to shop around, not shop around, but like look around, see what else.
What was out
Yes, like I'll
didn't
feel
include
the
the
energy. It's
possibility.
not about the race. It's not about the color. It's not
I
about the
didn't close the
culture.
opportunity,
Right.
because that might be what I was meant to have.
And I brought this up before. Like there are other religions. Like
what do you choose?
there's Christians that date Jewish and Muslims that are married to
I just
Christians,
explained that to
and
my very Christian religious
they make it
friends.
work. Yeah.
Like, first off, I've dated Muslim men, I've dated atheist men, I've dated Buddhist men, and there's things in Christianity where, you know, they want to talk about you being unequally yoked. So it's not encouraged to do it,
Mm.
because then, you know, you start to adapt certain cultures and behaviors that aren't necessarily right for you, instead of actually keeping your individuality in that relationship. Because a lot of people get in a relationship
That is important.
because they want to just adapt to everything that their partner is doing, versus culturally, if you're staying within your lane, you'll never lose yourself.
Yes.
But you still, that's not always true. There is that.
I'm actually learning that is like not to be codependent and let the other person be codependent. We got to be individualistic. And what we were saying, it's important to build on yourself and love yourself and know what you want before you step back in.
Yeah, knowing your worth. And I'm telling you, in those 2 years of celibacy, that is really what I got. Like, I started to see myself grow, know myself, like really discover who I was as a person after a tremendous heartbreak, of course. But then I was able to heal and, you know, get back out there, and then see that maybe some of the stuff that I was doing, because a lot of people don't like accountability. What the hell is that? Take accountability for what the fuck you're doing, because if it had been done to you, you knew that you would not have appreciated that shit. If the table turned, you wouldn't like that shit. So don't do it to others.
Now, with that being said, in that growth and that understanding, would you ever be hung up on race?
No.
Does it matter?
No. No, not at all.
For real. It doesn't. And with that being said, if you happen to only date your race, I think that's okay too.
It is. It's all about what you want out of life. Like, what was your goal? Some people, and this is like, I've seen a big fight about this. Some people get mad about people dating for certain things. Like, I may be dating for children, and you may not be dating for children. So when I want to impose me wanting children on you, if you really like me, you feel like you have to give me up because you weren't dating for that same thing, so we weren't like equally yoked.
Now let me talk on that real quick, because I will only date someone that wants children someday.
Yeah, and I don't want children. So like when you run across a dude who really wants a family, or really like I was just dating, he wanted 5 kids, and I'm thinking like
that's a little excessive.
5.
We in America, we only have 1.5. A little 5 is a little too much.
I mean, he can maintain the love. Family is like important to him.
Big families are nice. I'm
like,
not gonna lie, but that's a
5
lot on your body.
And that's what I said. That was my point, because first of all, I don't want children, and I've expressed this. And not only are you saying, for she's like, okay, just one. And I said, I can compromise. I can really go for one.
Speaking of that, because I want to touch into this, because tomorrow I'm going to Harrisburg State Capitol to go to a reproductive rights rally for, y'all know what's going on in Texas right now.
Yeah.
With them not letting the abortion
thing. They're basically trying to like legalize rape, like slick ways, because if you get raped by me, right, and you get pregnant, you cannot legally abort that baby at all. And guess what? Then after that, I can claim parental rights after I raped you. So you have to have contact with that baby that you didn't want, and that man who assaulted you, and you're constantly reliving that shit. That is crazy.
Not only
It's not
that,
like that is inhumane.
but people that will go to
Okay, well,
give
then
you
that's
the
different.
abortion.
Then they should just change it to having it like, okay, well, you have to have proof why you want to have this, or
They
you know,
don't
like
care.
They don't
if
care.
They said it. That's they said. Look, as
They
long
just
as
don't
it
want
has
it
a
at all.
heartbeat, you have to keep it because it's alive. So that's homicide. So basically, if somebody even drives
I
you to go
understand
to
that
an
that's a lie
abortion,
that you have that you know that's you can that's like a human being. It has a heartbeat,
You
but
know
yet
what?
again,
I'm gonna have to
mean-
disagree with you on that.
no, I understand what you mean. Like, there's a living being inside of you, and it's considered, you know, like you're murdering
Some people,
somebody.
it's
But
like-
yet again,
Here it is.
some people
Like
just
it's
don't see it that way.
undeveloped. It's
Huh?
literally like there's nothing to it. It's something if you were letting like I don't agree with the abortion that lets you basically do it like halfway
9
through.
months or shit
Yeah,
like
that
that.
shit
That's
is-
ridiculous.
That is murder.
That's murder,
That is
right?
murder.
That's
That is a
different.
fully
But when
you-
developed
like,
baby.
for
When
example-
you're just getting pregnant, you're
Yeah.
Like, for
actually
example,
into
under the
it.
pretense of rape or under the pretense
Yeah.
of like you just can't
That's a whole
support
different
that
level.
child.
That
I'm sorry, but I'm not sorry. I support women's rights to control their own body. Point blank. I'm a man. I should not be dictating what you can do with your
I'm
body.
just
That's
arguing
wrong.
with a dude on
That is
Facebook.
completely wrong. And the fact that, like, say you did go and sneak get an abortion, right? And the doctor that did it, if they find out they did it on you, that doctor gets put in
But
jail and
any
sued and
random
all
person
that.
who knows that you got it can even try to sue.
Mm-hmm.
They could have nothing to do with the pregnancy at all. It could just be a friend that you told, I was pregnant, and she get mad at you and be like, "Oh, I know that bitch got an abortion."
What if
Not
she lied?
What if she lied? Like, how
That's
do you
crazy.
know that? Like, you don't know that. That is scary to think of it. Like some of the situations that they're setting up for people to go through. That shit is ridiculous
Right?
and it's
Mhm.
legal.
And this is right. She's like, what? This is America, and it's the shit we deal with in America. And it's crazy because you have different states that do different things, and that's what makes it so fucked up.
Yeah, because you have to
Like-
have their own government.
But the thing is, like here in America, for example, let's talk about weed.
Yeah, I was
Let's
about to
talk
say,
about
weed being
marijuana real
legal
quick,
in a lot of
because
states, but not
white ass Karens could sit there and do yoga at the motherfucking park down the street from me and smoke weed, and it's not a problem as long as I got my marijuana card. Let me go to the dispensary and get my expensive weed. But then motherfuckers in Alabama and Louisiana and Tennessee can get pulled over, get charged with an ounce of weed or an eighth of weed and serve fucking life prison sentence. That's ridiculous. That's inequality. That is wrong. That is what we need to fix. And I don't like the whole state by state basis with that bullshit.
If they know better, they just threw that man away. The weed might even be smoking.
so small
Something so small.
But they want it this way.
that you have in a place be okay.
Because some states don't allow you to even have the card or you to medicinally smoke.
If you ride through that state, even if you have a car, it's like that's not legal.
Yeah, you
here,
could
and
be
you're
in
going
such
to
state
jail.
and you go here.
Just like going to New
I
York.
was
So,
like, a couple hours ago.
I got pulled over in they were following me in Lancaster County, but they pulled me over in Chester County. I was smoking a blunt in the car. They already had pulled up on me, so I couldn't try to like blow. No, because they would have made it worse. So I just rolled down the window, you know what I mean? And I told them. And but it was Chester County. Had I been 2 counties over in Philly County, they would have just told me, just take it easy, put the blunt out and have a great day. If they wanted to be dickheads about it, they would have charged me a $25 fine. That is it. But because I was 2 counties over and it's illegal, I ended up paying $7,000 in fines and court fees. I wasn't allowed to smoke for a year. Therapy. Yes. It was crazy. They treated me like I was like, no offense to other people, but a heroin addict. Or someone that was like on chronically, like on all kinds of hard drugs. Yes. They treated it. And I was paired with all these people. And the counselors would tell you, I know this is ridiculous, but this is just the way it is here. That is not acceptable.
We're not even on the same level.
No.
That's like putting somebody who went to jail for tax evasion in a jail with somebody who was there for murder.
Thank you.
Those are not
That's
the
a great
same
example.
categories of crimes. How can you put those 2 people together and expect that person was traumatized?
That's the point right there. Traumatized. I was never exposed to any of that kind of stuff before. Like I've had friends that I grew up with that died from overdoses, but I didn't know that they were even doing those drugs until after. It's like I've always been aloof to that stuff. I've only smoked marijuana. I've done shrooms a little bit. I had like a little bout with and I've talked about this before on the show, that I had an addiction to Xanax bars for a tiny period. It was like a month or two. I almost had it. I had a near death experience. I almost died. And I quit that. That was the only time I ever experimented with like hard drugs. So for me, it was a big shock to have to deal with and listen to all these levels of addiction and the level of exposure. Well, it adds a more guilt trip to it. Like, oh, marijuana's bad too. I shouldn't have done that either. Imagine if I was a teenager or a young adult being put in that situation. I'm old enough to know, like, they're not going to guilt trip me into thinking that this is horrible, you know. But for a teenager, let's say he was riding his dirt bike through the city and he got pulled over by the police, because that happens, and then they'll put them in a program like that.
Yeah.
It has nothing to do with riding an illegal bike. It's very common here in Lancaster. It's very common in Philly, in Coatesville. It's very common. For those who don't know, these are towns in Pennsylvania. It's really common here. And first of all, give these kids a place to bike. I know we jump from topic to topic, but
but that's just what we're doing.
Right. And I love organic conversation. I love for things to just flow when you talk about whatever's on your mind. There's a lot of different issues going on in America, from like big issues, from like kids getting shot by the police, to little issues, just about like how you deal with dating, other people of other colors and cultures. And I kind of want to go back to that real quick, because for me, and I'm 32, it's very difficult to navigate the dating landscape now. And like the last time I did it was like 3 years ago, and it was hard.
That's when I was doing it, and it was way different. Everybody's being honest. That's what made me say, why can't you have open conversation with your partner? Why do you feel like I'm interrogating you because I'm asking you simple questions?
Oh my God.
If you can't answer the simple question, it clearly you're being dishonest about something. So
all of that.
What did you take my choice away from? And then you're getting put in situations where people are having crazy actions, but you couldn't communicate that with me. When you should have communicated that from the beginning of the relationship, not me finding out at the end of the relationship. That shit is check it.
That's facts right there. And you know what? Everything along with that, I agree with, and I've faced and went through. That's very real. Oh, it's wrapped around that napkin right there. So we went out to the bar, and then we got some food, and it's always, I'm not a huge drinker, but sometimes the liquor does bring out some truth. And sometimes it's, having fun and having a good time, having those good vibes does bring out a lot of great conversations. And things that you might have forgotten about when you're like in a normal mode. You know what I mean? Like it brings up those memories of different stuff. Yeah. Like I got stories for fucking days, but when it comes to dating, like I just feel like I'm an old man, and I don't pick up on like if someone's flirting with me, or if they're not into me, or if they're friend zoning me, or if they trying to fuck and that's all they want. I'm cool with any of those or all of the above, but let me know straight up.
From the door.
Don't
lying. Don't be lying, telling us you want a relationship, and then after we started fucking and I started to get feelings for y'all might have not even wanted a relationship, but now I want one, and now you're like, oh, I think I changed my mind about that. Oh, I don't know what we are. Like, no, be upfront about that, because if I can keep my options open, I can keep doing what I'm doing. I'm not obligated to give you my time, so you're wasting my time knowing that you don't want the same thing that I want. So, what was the purpose of it? But for you to get what you want and not be honest.
Well, I will say part of that, the purpose is for you to learn a lesson. There was something out of that you needed to gain, to learn, to add to what you already have. Like that was something you need to, okay, don't do that.
I'm big on it.
Fuck yeah.
I feel like spiritual things, like there's gonna be that same spirit with a different face everywhere until you defeat that.
Oh my God! Oh my God, that is exactly it.
You keep getting that same test over and over and over, and then you're sitting in your room like, why the fuck do I keep getting niggas who treat me like this?
Because you are what you attract, and if you don't want to,
get your energy together. And that was 2 years ago.
And once I got my energy together, it was like you couldn't pull the wool over my eyes. My intuition is too far ahead of this.
And it doesn't matter what face is on it, you can feel that energy from a mile away.
You can start to avoid it.
Yes.
And then you'll start to find out you are attracting more positive things into your atmosphere because you changed your mindset.
Yo, get out of my head.
As long as you keep thinking like that, you're gonna get what you attract.
Yes.
I keep every nigga ain't shit. They're all bums. This, that, and the third.
You're gonna keep getting those bums.
Like, what are you doing?
Yes. You are what you attract, right. And when you keep welcoming that in, the universe is gonna keep giving you that. Right.
Anyway, be the person you want to find. Don't be a nickel out here looking for a dime.
Oh my God, yes. Fucking gems, like spit that shit, queen. For real. No, because you have to know who you are and what you want. And for real, I've had that test for like the past 4, 5, 6 years. I've been getting the same kind of people in different faces. And I'm like, oh, this one looks completely different from the last one. He got a whole different vibe. And a couple months go by and it's the same bullshit, same type of nigga in a different cloak. But it's the same vibe, the same devil. Yes.
It's the same ass devil. And I had to call myself out on my shit.
Yes. Okay, well, we're just talking about accountability.
Because that's what I said. I said, you gotta have the accountability, Brianna. You know, bitch, you knew once you encountered this man that you felt that fucking spirit on him. You looked at him and you said, something in my mind is telling me that he is just like so-and-so. That wasn't just a thought. That was like
your gut, your spirit.
You recognize the spirit of
your ancestors were telling you, don't do it.
Yes,
don't do it.
And if I say, yeah, me ignoring red flags.
And they all eat rainbows and 2 butterflies.
And listen to what the fuck he's gonna tell you. That's beautiful because he know he got you fucking confused.
They will tell you exactly what you want to hear.
And you like, everybody shit's rainbows and butterflies. You know better than that. You know shit ain't rainbows and butterflies. You know shit from sugar. Right. And right now, you are encountering shit. You felt it. You've seen the spirit on them, but you chose, instead of like elevating yourself to choosing one up, like, I'm really over that situation because I remember how that last one made me feel.
Yes.
That's why it's okay to forgive and heal, but don't forget, because history forgotten repeats itself.
Yes!
And this is the same thing that we are seeing in real life today on the news. Like, history is literally repeating itself because people wanted to forget. Like, it just never existed. Let's strip it from the textbooks. Let's
forgive, but don't forget.
Don't forget it. Never forget it. No.
Yo, speaking gems.
But yeah, remember that, because when you encounter that spirit again with that different face, he's looking good, he's looking right, but you feel that spirit. You're like, damn, this was too familiar. This not just deja vu. This here is me recognizing I'm above it. And it's okay to be above that, because some people try to make you feel like you walked away from them when they were going, no. It's okay for you to do what's best for you. Don't allow people to make you feel like you're making conscious, well-being decisions for yourself. Like, you got to make sure that your mental is good, your spirit is good. Because if that person has taken everything from you, what can you even give them in the first place? Because you have gave yourself nothing.
You can't pour from an empty cup.
You can't pour from an empty cup at all.
I've had dudes I give my all to, 1,000% of what 100 I have.
I will give you,
and they're still sucking me for more. And I'm just giving it up.
They're like, you ain't got, what else you got? Those are the narcissists.
Yes.
You're encountering narcissists. And when they're doing that, they just want the reaction from you. And the moment you stop feeding them the reactions they're looking for, they will leave you the fuck alone. Because
that's exactly what happened. Yes.
Of fucking up your energy.
Yes.
And you allow.
Yes. That's the whole key of it right there. What happens to you is your fault if you allow it. If you don't learn from that lesson. Yes.
I don't deserve this shit and I'm not taking it. Put your foot down. And they're a motherfucker to tell you that you're wrong for putting your foot down. And you tell him that you're right for doing what's best for you. Fuck all of that. We all got different strokes.
For real, different strokes for different folks is right. Well, for me, one of the things I'm really learning and go along with this is saying no. Putting my foot down and saying no, and not having to give a reason as to why.
Yeah.
No.
And no is no. But
Mhm.
a lot of people don't respect the fucking no.
Mhm.
They still
They
insist.
don't.
Mhm.
They insist. Yo, I had a weird ass nigga doing that shit. Like, stop insisting that I give you a chance, nigga. I said
No.
and that was just that. Like,
Snap out.
Mhm.
yeah, and that's okay because there's gonna be somebody that
goes
you
on.
want to tell no to.
What I've noticed, and this is from a male perspective, is that women are programmed because of our male-dominated society to um say yes or go along with it to get out of that situation faster because they don't want to deal with challenging that guy. And a lot of guys are intimidated by a strong woman that's just very assertive. Get the fuck out of my face. They want to challenge that, or they want to belittle you, or draw attention to the
To
get
it,
it.
like you're just overreacting. They what is that?
To
What is
what?
that
To your
term?
limits,
Oh
to
my
it.
god, they will gaslight you.
They will gaslight you.
You're
So
not allowed
I've
to
noticed a lot of women just entertain it for a little bit so they can scurry out of that situation. And from a man's perspective, I want to say that that's not okay. I think that it's important. I think, and this is my opinion and suggestion, I think that it's important to challenge that situation and challenge that man because a woman has every right and validity to be just as strong or just as vulnerable.
They know.
Mhm. I have it put up on different places to remind me to say no because it's important. And I have a whole bunch of different stuff like this right here.
You know,
Stop asking why because it keeps you in the past.
forward. That's not look back and turn to
When
the
you
pillar.
say ask what
it is
now,
what it is.
it keeps you in the present and gets you looking forward to the future, but not too much because you're talking about the now. And when you literally say these words, it puts you in those
Positive.
perspectives. Yes, because when you're saying why did this happen? Why was it like this? Why did it play out like that? It's putting you in the past and it's keeping you thinking negatively. But if you're sitting there saying, what now? What am I going to do now? What am I going to do to figure this out and get above this? What am I doing right now? It's keeping you in the now and looking forward to brighter days. And these kind of things, like I'm really learning to keep me out of that, like making sure that I'm not falling for those same things that and I'm learning the lesson this time. I'm progressing because the next one that comes around is going to be that person that I'm not even going to fucking expect. They might even like get on my fucking nerves because I'm not used to actually like legit being loved.
Yeah.
And I've said this before, my viewers know that I was a sex worker. I tricked for a good several years in my 20s. And that stemmed from a lot of different things. But in the gay world, like a lot of us, not all, because it's a stereotype, but a lot of us have dealt with molestation, rape, a lot of those things in nature. And it does create a lot of things within sexuality, promiscuity, and self-esteem issues. And, I was always told, you're attractive, you're hot. But it does feel uncomfortable to me. And especially now, I'm trying to be comfortable with it because I think I'm attractive. But I was also like shown or like felt
told I wasn't
right.
attractive. Like,
except for from people that it made me feel uncomfortable from. But those were people that actually gave me genuine energy, like real, authentic, pure energy that it was like I couldn't take it. Like, oh, this is too much. It makes me feel too good. Like, this is weird.
It's awkward. I'm just like feeling like this. I don't think I deserve it.
But you do.
Yeah, some people don't. Mentally, there are a lot of people who don't think they deserve that energy and self-sabotage.
Yes. I've done it myself.
Self-sabotage on a good thing.
Mhm.
This is when they start looking for little excuses for why not to be with the person who's the best to them.
I think we've all done it on some level.
That's why I said, if you don't pour into yourself, how are you pouring into anybody else? You're still missing that element. Go back. Don't collect 200. Go back. So,
what I like to think of us individually as like our own tree, our own seed. And if we're keeping a shadow over us, we're not getting the sunlight to replenish that growth every season to grow new leaves. So if people keep picking apples from us and we're not getting the fucking sunlight, how are we going to give more apples? We can't. We're going to fucking die.
but we are really.
insane. Like, let me play this shit out in my head real quick. I got the fucking tree with the apples, and then he's sucking the love out of the fucking apples.
Look, on a Christian sense, let's talk about Adam and Eve. Like, they picked that evil apple.
She picked that motherfucking evil apple,
listening
to a serpent.
A motherfucking snake.
Serpent. A snake? Bitch, you trust in snakes? Oh, this is before you got bit, though. This is before she got bit, though. This was that first initial.
But you know what?
Trusting
a snake is what led her to eat that apple, not knowing if it was going to be replenished to begin with. She became selfish.
Not encountering people that are snakes and then encountering someone who is a snake is like because you don't expect it. You have to have that first initial shock, that first trauma that leads you to know that this is not a lesson.
But you know what? You don't always have to experience that trauma yourself. If you're aware to your surroundings and picking up the lessons that your friends and your family are throwing at you, pick up what they putting down. You'll know to avoid that because someone else told you.
Some people are hard-headed. Hard-headed makes us all fast. Yeah, because my mom was like, yo, my sister, don't do this. I've been down that road. I was young. I had kids. Like, don't do it to yourself. And she's like, I'm going to do it myself because I need to feel it for myself. Yeah, because some people do learn
I've been like that.
Other people, but they got to do it themselves.
But they have to do it themselves because they have to experience that first initial trauma to be like, okay, maybe this wasn't what the fuck I thought it was going to be.
I've done that. I've done it. I've been both ways.
Some people only learn that way. They gotta
some people only learn that way. Hit rock bottom to, like a phoenix from that. They wake up.
And you know what? That's okay. That's your path. That's your path. That's okay. Just don't fuck with mine. Yeah.
And learn.
On that note, we hitting 40 minutes. Stay positive. Love yourself. Be kind to yourself and others, but most importantly to yourself. And there is no right and wrong, but know what energy is for you. Be safe, love yourselves, and have a good night.
No justice!